Hello everyone. Today is Try It Tuesday. So I've got 3 projects that I've redone that I've seen someone else do and inspired me. This first one is this adorable little hanging flower planter thing from Liz Moore Decal and Decor. This is what you'll need. And we'll start by taking the canvas off. I believe this canvas was from the Dollar Tree. This one is an 8 by 10, so I believe it's maybe a little larger than the one she used. But again, her video was just inspiration, so I'm going to do what I need to do. And I kind of like this 8, I think it's an 8 by 10. And the canvas can be tough in the corners because it's folded over. So just make sure you cut the corners well to get that canvas off. And of course, we're going to save that. We'll use that on another project. We're going to try to get the staples out. It's not 100% necessary, but it does, of course, look cleaner if you can get all the staples out. And then pull all that extra scrap, basically. The scrap canvas, pull all that off. Now, other YouTubers make this look so simple and so clean. I'm sorry, it's just not. Okay, once we've got it all cleaned up, we're going to take one of these small wood planks from Dollar Tree. And this is what the little floral thing is going to hang from. So you can see it fits perfectly in this frame. You don't have to cut it or anything. It's perfect. And so I'm just going to measure because I'm going to make the hanging holes. So I'm just going to measure 2 holes, evenly spaced, all that. And we're just going to use a very small drill bit and just drill those holes. And just one on each side. And there we go. And then we have to measure using those holes, measure where the holes in the frame need to go. You know me and my ruler, I love measuring some stuff. Alright, so we've got those, and then we also want those holes to be in the middle so that it doesn't try to crack the wood or, anything like that. These frames are from Dollar Tree, I'm pretty sure. So I'm not going to risk, screwing it up and having it fall apart when I hang it up. And then again, just going to drill that hole through. Using that same drill bit. And there we go for that. All right, now for the backing piece that the ribbon's going to go on, I just use Mod Podge. I didn't want to paint it because I liked the way it looked with that natural wood. So I'm just Mod Podging it just so that it's got a little tiny bit of sheen. Then we're going to paint the frame. This is the Waverly ink. And the Mod Podge I was just showing for the other purpose. But I actually end up, after I've painted this frame, I actually end up going back and Mod Podging it anyway just to protect it. And we're going to paint everything on this frame. The insides, the outsides, the front, the back, everything. And you know me and my black, I have to do black. And then we're going to use some beads. They're just a little decorative touch. Now this big old bag I got from Amazon. There's what it is. And it wasn't expensive. I don't know, 10, 20 bucks, something like that. And here's where we're going to Mod Podge the frame. And then I also Mod Podge the beads. I don't know why my camera footage on all of these crafts was a little off. So I also Mod Podged all of the beads. Just again to protect them so that it's easy to dust and that type of thing. And then we're going to start putting it all together. So here I'm just using twine. We're going to just create a small knot on one end. Oh, actually, was I taping? No, I was making a knot there. And then on the other end, we're going to need to put something on the end of that twine, like tape. I just use regular Scotch tape because that's what I had right next to me, so that's what I used. And it worked fine. Now, I got all excited about this, and I started putting this all together, and everything was great. I shouldn't have put the beads on the string until I put the string through the plaque. But, it's, whatever. It worked out. I made it work out. Here's where I thought about it, right there. And I thought, oh crap, I'm doing this backwards. And then here's the ribbon I decided to use. This was a ribbon I got, I believe it was from the Goodwill outlet, or the Goodwill bins is what we call them. And so it was super cheap. We pay by the pound there. So that was probably about $1 or so of ribbon. And then we're just going to line up the ribbon the way you want it. Now, I wanted to cover the full front and the full back, so I made it long enough so that I could do that. And then I'm going to cut notches out so that it's easy to wrap the ribbon around the back. And I do end up going back and just making these straight instead of angled like that, because I didn't like the way it was hanging over. Now, you could also use a small piece of fabric if you have one instead of ribbon. Not everyone has this super thick ribbon, but if you had a small piece of fabric, that would work well as well. So then we're just going to glue this ribbon right onto that plank. And here's where I kind of figured out I didn't like that hanging over, because look at the overlap down at the bottom. Sometimes it takes me a minute to figure these things out, people. Sometimes it takes me a minute. But after I figured it out, then I trimmed everything down and I made everything straight across there on the back. And then once I've got that all done, then I'm just folding up the bottom. And see how everything now looks very flat and very uniform and quite good. And it's so adorable. And I really do love the buffalo check or the gingham or whatever you want to call it. I really do love that pattern. And it being black, of course, helps. Now, I should have gone back and explained, of course, colors are all up to you. Ribbon colors are all up to you. I think every frame in my house is black, and so therefore, guess what's going to happen in my house? But if you wanted white or if you wanted a natural wood, you know, you have that choice. So here we're just going to measure, and we put the beads onto the plank, and then we're going to measure and make sure that when we put the string or the twine through the frame, it hangs straight, because that's it has to, basically, otherwise it's going to look stupid. So just make sure you measure it out and just hang it or tie it straight. And here it is. I love this little piece. It's so adorable. And it was relatively easy. I mean, it did not take long at all. It was really quite easy. So thank you, Liz Moore Decal and Decor. I loved the idea. Now, this challenge was brought to us by Unicorn Dust Designs. Sammy over there is an awesome creator, very sweet, and some great ideas. Go check out her channel. Now, here's one from the Crafty DIY guy. Mine is a little different because I couldn't find all the wonderful items that he had for his. Here's what you'll need for this one. And we're going to start off just by measuring, seeing how we want it to be. You could use a square piece of wood. You perhaps could use Jenga blocks. So I'm just going to cut or trace that off where I want it cut. And then we're going to go ahead and trace out the cutting board onto, this is a placemat from Dollar Tree. I couldn't find the beautiful tile that Crafty DIY guy used, so I am just using this placemat. Yeah, I think it's a cool looking placemat. I'm happy with it. So we're just going to cut that out. This is actually like a cloth material. It looks almost like a metal, but it's a cloth material, so super easy to cut. And you can't see anything I'm doing, so that's awesome. And then once we've got that all cut out, we just have to, you know, of course, make sure it's all lined up and fits well. Now, I am not painting the back at all. I'm going to leave it that wood color. And we're going to start putting everything together. So I drilled some holes through the cutting board and put some very small screws through that cutting board. And then we're going to super glue the placemat to the cutting board. So that's what we're doing here. Now I lost my footage of when I was screwing those holes, but I put holes in both the cutting board and the little rounded wood piece. Now the rounded wood piece we are going to paint black.
Yeah.
That one I did want black. And my little round piece is quite thin, but you know, I got to use what I have. And there, you can barely see, but I do have my little screws already in there. And then we're just going to attach or put the round piece into those screws. And then just tighten them up on the back. And then I forgot I wanted to put some super glue. So then I had to do it all over again. And again, just line the holes up and put the super glue, put the rounded piece down. Easier said than done, of course. Now I should say too that when I tightened this up, my screws, I guess, started pulling up. And so my shelf, if nothing is on my shelf, it is not even. If you put something on the shelf, then it's flat. It evens out. I don't know if that matters to anyone. Probably not. But here it is. And I did have to paint a small dowel, wood dowel, and put it under the shelf. Just give it a little tiny bit of support. But I think it's quite attractive. I love that pattern on that placemat, and I love it with that black, so I really do like it. And there's a strange little flower I got at the end of Christmas last year. It's gold, so that was odd. But it looks cute on the little shelf. And then this last one is from Whiskey and Wit. It's a flag garland. Here's what you'll need. So we'll start with the burlap. Now this was a burlap I got from Walmart. I don't know how, but I paid 40 cents for this big old thing of burlap. I went back this next day to get more, and the next day it was $4.75 or however much the normal cost is. So that was very strange. And I wish I would have got about 5 of them. Okay, so we're just going to get our little flags ready. Now I am going to put the little triangle down at the bottom. Whiskey and Witch, she didn't. She left it straight across. So, you know, this is all where it comes to what you like, what you want. So we're just going to cut off the little triangle at the bottom of the flag. And I ended up using 6 of these. So I prepared 6 of these little flags. And then I'm going to paint them. Now, again, my flags look a little different. So I'm painting red and blue are going to be just flat red and blue. So I've got 2 of each of those. And I'm just using my little dauber and daubing it on. Burlap is not easy to paint. And then the last one, I'm going to use these stencils from Dollar Tree. They're just stars. And I'm going to use those to put a bunch of stars on the white one. Red, white, and blue, of course. And how you do the stars, you know, if you don't want to do stars, if you only want to do 1 star, you know, again, it's all personal preference and how you want to do it. And I end up mixing big stars and small stars. And then here are the small ones that I put on there. And I did, on that stencil, I did have to tape around the stars because they were pretty close together. And I was screwing up, so I did put some tape there. And there are my little starred ones. And so then once you've got them all prepared, then we're going to start putting them on the twine. Now, again, I did mine a little different. I folded the burlap over the string. It made it so that you can still move them, which was important to me. And I thought this was a great and easy way to do it. Easy wasn't maybe the right word to use there, but this is what I tried. And it's hard. I should have had my little finger protectors on my thumbs, and I didn't. I did burn myself and have a blister on my thumb, so that was awesome. You can see that. That's where I did it right there. That's where I burned my thumb. And man, that hurt. But make sure you have all your finger protectors on, and we're just going to glue the twine, not glue the twine. We're going to glue the burlap down over the twine, wanting to be able to still be able to move the twine. If that made sense, I don't know, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying, or you can see what I'm saying. And then at the ends, we're just going to tie a small loop. This is where we would hang it. So I don't know, is it called a slip knot, or I don't know what it's called, but we're just going to go ahead and do that on each end. And you could make this as long as you wanted. If you wanted 46 flags, you could do that. If you wanted 51 flags, you could do that. If you wanted 3, guess what? You can do that. And there's how it is. And another one I think was successful. Now this one looks maybe a little bit more homemade than I prefer, but I still do love it. I do think it looks good, and on 4th of July it will be hanging, or for July, probably all of July, it will be hanging out on my front door actually. So thank you so much for stopping by Nattys Crafts. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate so much Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs holding this Try It Tuesday event. And then, of course, I have to thank all the people that inspired me, which was Whiskey and Wit, DIY Guy, the Crafty DIY Guy, Liz Moore, Decal and Decor. You guys inspired me, and I do appreciate that. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. If you leave a comment, I would love to know which was your favorite of the 3. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I sure do appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.